TMUC Lahore campus. I'm managing Royal Holloway's BSc Business Administration program here under the leadership of Ms. Sarina. Dr. Sarina is the head of department for TMUC Pakistan, and we have been working together with this program in Lahore and nationwide. Thank you so much for your time, for giving us the time for some clarity, for some more information and guidance about how to take this program further. Ms. Sarina, would you like to add something?
Yes, hi Nilufa. I'm so glad that you could join us today for our session. This session will go live and will definitely change so many lives because Royal Holloway happens to be one of our most famous programs. We are just going through the admission cycle right now nationwide, and we've had very good response. And I'm sure with your input, we will be able to answer a lot of student questions, a lot of parents' questions as well, because you see in Pakistan the parents take a very keen interest in what the children want to study, and where they want to go ahead with. So uh, Usman will be asking you a few elementary questions that we most frequently get when we have an admission here or a student who's already studying with us, and I think who better to explain that than you. So Niloufar, thank you so much. Thank you, Usman, and I let Usman begin.
Great. Thank you, Usman. Thank you, Dr. Serena. It's an absolute pleasure to be here today. So really nice to hear from you. Just to introduce myself, so my name is Niloufar Mia. I work at the University of London as a Senior Business Support Services Manager. So my role is to work with colleagues at TMUC to help support our programs, deliver them locally to students in Pakistan. So something that I'm really excited about. And I'm looking forward to answering any questions that our students and their families may have.
Okay. Thank you so much, Niloufar. Let's start with the questions that we most commonly get. The first one would be the entry criteria. We do know about the entry criteria that's published on the website regarding the standard entry. The cert entry or the certificate entry, that's a little complicated for us. Sometimes we are not sure about the streams that can lead the student to BSc Business Administration. One of the most commonly acquired qualification at in Pakistan and in Lahore is the intermediate, the Pakistani intermediate and the SSC. So based on that, do we have any clarity that what particular percentages or grades? And the second most common qualification for the cert we get is the international baccalaureate. So if you can guide us about these two especially, that would be real help.
Okay. So I was really excited to answer these questions, but unfortunately, I'm not an admissions expert. So sadly, I will have to refer that to colleagues within admissions. So for now, I can give a very general answer, the fact that all our admissions criteria are in the website. But Usman, I know that you already know that. However, what I can do is I can go back internally, speak to admissions colleagues, feedback to you, then at least you can then pass that information on. So I'm sorry not to be able to answer, but it's something that will definitely provide the information.
All right. So Niloufar, if you don't mind, Usman, I would like to comment on that. So we're going through the admission cycle right now, and what we do here is we have two streams that students generally come from: the Cambridge stream and the local stream, which is a metric and intermediate. So our metric is equivalent to the O levels, and the intermediate is equivalent to the A levels for the Cambridge stream. Our entry criteria for the standard route is you have to have O levels completed and your A levels completed, and according to our HEC criteria, because you see the Royal Holloway degree is also HEC has HEC equivalence and HEC recognition. So because we know that these two have to be, all of the regulator requirements in the UK as well as in Pakistan have to be met, we make sure that our students come in with the required things. So for the standard route, we get the A-level IB student directly into the program, while for the intermediate, metric and intermediate, which is the local stream, according to the HEC requirement, what we do is we put them on the CHESS Cert HE program, which means that they get a certificate during the first year. It is sort of, they're like monitored during the first year, how they study, how well their results are, whether they have any difficulty in switching to the English language, which of course they don't, because our students are already bilingual and they study both kinds of both languages right from the very onset. So that's not generally that's not generally a thing that will keep them behind the rest of the class. So what they do is, by the end of year one, they get that certificate and they also graduate to the standard entry. And I'm very happy to tell you that till date, we have not had any case that was not successfully, did not successfully transition from the Cert 80 to the standard route. So that is one thing that we've had a very good success rate with.
Great, that's really great to hear. And 𝐁𝐮𝐬𝐢, just to add, if there are any specific entry requirement questions, I'm sure you're aware you can pose those directly to our admissions colleagues, so that they are the experts. But by any means, I will go back and I'll check with them as well.
So the admissions department at Royal Holloway is also very, very helpful. Sometimes we do get qualifications from one of the Gulf countries. We also get qualifications from one of the from Japan. Recently, actually got one, and we were able to put in a query and sort that out as well. So the entry is pretty smooth for all of our students.
Okay, I'll continue with the questions, and these are the most commonly questioned. I've already told you. The next questions are also related to admissions. Maybe you can route them forward to the admissions team. Just for this session, let me just formally mention the questions over here, which are, as this is once a year program, if you only have one intake in a year, and some of the students might miss the entries, either cert or standard, both. So in that scenario, could there be some possibility for a conditional offer for the students, which will save them with a year? They might be able to recover with the grades in the next 2 to 3 months, and they won't have to wait for the next September intake then. So this could be one of the questions that might increase the intake volume in Pakistan, because there are many students who are lacking with some of the grades.
Sure. So at the moment, we don't give out any conditional offers. What we might be able to do, and this is at the discretion of our admissions team, we may be able to confirm eligibility. So if a student, provided that they get certain results, they may be eligible for the program. So we might give a statement, and then once the results are released, if the student does achieve those results, then they can get back in touch with the university, and then the formal offer can be given. But that is something that we can check with the admissions team on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Sarina, would you like to add anything? Shall I move on?
Yes, I'd just like to add that as for the admissions are concerned, we must let all of our audience know that we have a bursary program in place that has been set up by the Royal Holloway, and this year all of our intake will get 20.5% bursary with the TMUC Royal Holloway partnership program, and I think it's a great idea, and it has also decreased the cost by quite a bit. So that's just one thing that we'd really like to mention before we move on to the international recognition and the global mobility.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Definitely, this particular bursary has helped the program to stay competitive in this market, and many parents and many students are they are very happily accepting it. The program cost was one of the hurdle last year, and this year it has been eased out.
It's something that we have been monitoring at the University of London and Royal Holloway. We're very conscious of, how affordable our degrees are, and the whole, our mission is to widen access to students, make it more affordable. So that's something that we're hoping. I'm really pleased to hear that the bursary has helped attract more students, and it is a considerable amount, because it would have been about £10,000, so it ends up being about 8,000. So, and just to note that any student who does register for the current academic year, so 25-26, they'll be eligible for the bursary throughout the whole duration of the program, so in year 1, year 2, and 3. So it's a great initiative. Really excited about it, and hope it does help students.
Definitely. Okay, there's one clarity with respect to the same bursary we are talking about. This bursary is applied to both standard and cert students. So what happens when the
It is.
cert students next year in 26-27 they convert to standard? Will they have to pay any extra progression fee, or will they be paying the same fee as the standard student in level 5?
That's That's a very good question. In terms of the progression, I would need to check that. But they should still be eligible for the bursary because they would have completed year 1 under the 𝐶𝐻, then they'll be eligible for the bursary year 2 and year 3. But in terms of the progression, if there is any additional fees, I can check that and let you know.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next section, which is about international recognition for Royal Holloway. We all know about the global ranking it stands, a very well ranked, operated, regulated under University of London. But there are very specific questions from the parents that we regularly deal with. And one of that question is how acceptable this degree is for the masters in the US universities, Canadian universities, and Australian universities. So, does the student are they eligible for well-ranked Ivy Leagues universities master's program?
So our degrees are internationally recognized, but the advice that would give is for the students to check with the university that they're applying to, because it would be at their discretion, because I can't comment on their own sort of entry requirements and, progression and so on. So the advice is to wherever they're applying to check with them directly.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on. Another question related to recognition. We all know about the ranking, we all know about the global recognition, but just for the sake of the people viewing this session, for them, can you just highlight that where does Royal Holloway stand globally and the value, the prestige it holds?
Sure. So I mean, I can speak about Royal Holloway and University of London. So Royal Holloway, I think depending on which ranking you look at, which year, very highly ranked. I think it's at the moment it's about 30 something in the UK. We have sort of world-renowned academics who work on putting the module, the contents together. And obviously the Royal Holloway and University of London work very closely together. Your University of London, goes back to sort of 1836 when we were founded. So we're one of the oldest, most prestigious universities in the world. And we work very closely with all of our federation members. And within those federation members, we have world-renowned sort of academics leading, developing the content. So yeah, I think it's for students, I think it's the best choice. Just wanting sort of a business-related a degree from Royal Holloway combined with University of London.
Okay, thank you so much for the answer in such detail. Moving on, we have two questions related to the transfer of credit. One is if you can answer both, and if Dr. Serena, if you can pitch in later on, please. The questions are: number one, if a student starts his journey, his education in Pakistan at TMUC with the BSc Business Administration, and later wants to transfer to on-campus Royal Holloway, that's number one question. What are the merits, decision-making factors that the admission committee checks or looks at before finalizing that offer for the transfer? The number two question is, what are the chances that they may be able to transfer their previous credits to some other UK university, not Royal Holloway on campus? If you can shed some light on it, please.
Sure. So I'll answer your first question, Usman. So it is possible for students registered on the first year at TMUC to transfer to either year 2 or year 3 and study directly on campus at Royal Holloway. What Royal Holloway will look at is the grades. The average grades must be 60% and above. And they'll also look at sort of English language competency. But I think, as Serena mentioned earlier, students are bilingual, so that shouldn't be a problem. But it's, the average grades being above 60%. And to answer your second question, similar to the one earlier, with the sort of masters in America and so on, it would really depend on asking the university that the students are applying to. It will be at their discretion to see what they would accept.
Okay. Ms. Serena, would you like to add something?
Yes, Usman, thank you so much. So what I'd like to say is that we very frequently get students at TMUC who transfer to the partner university at Royal Holloway. And while we do facilitate them, they process the process all by themselves. So they get in touch with Royal Holloway and we facilitate it whenever they want to. And just as Niloufar said, as long as they keep a 60% average grade for each year, they have transferred. We've had a very successful transfer just last year, and that student of ours, she's one of the global scholarship holders for Royal Holloway. And for now, if you ask me, I think the eligibility and comparing the Royal Holloway degree program to any other program in the world, it has a lot of credibility. So HEC, the Higher Education Commission in Pakistan, if it recognizes a program and gives you equivalence for a bachelor's program, it is equivalent to bachelor's program across the globe. So it means that, of course, the degree is held in very high esteem. And if you talk about the on-campus BSc programs, our students are always very excited to go over to the UK. They've taken classes in year 2, in year 3. We've also had students, in fact, right now, we have students who won the Royal Holloway International Business Challenge from TMUC in 2024, and they're planning on going for either their third years or uh, even their masters. We can confidently say that we have about at least 12 to 15 students studying at Royal Holloway, which are TMUC transfer students to Royal Holloway on site at the moment, and they're doing very well. So I think the partnership's going really strong, and the degree in itself brings a lot to the table.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the clarity. Thank you, Niloufar, for your clarity on the questions. Moving on, we have a question similar, relatable to the previous question. If a student decides and is eligible for the transfer on campus for the Royal Holloway campus, would there be any particular bursary apart from the existing bursary that they can earn, they can apply for the fees applicable in UK? Because they are the student for Royal Holloway over here. On that basis, do they qualify for any particular scholarship?
So every year there is 2 scholarships available to the value of £6,000, and also putting aside the scholarship, students do get 10% discount from the sort of the usual fees.
Okay. Thank you so much. That would definitely be helpful in making sure that the students do get that international exposure. They are getting the same degree over here, but the exposure they get, the international exposure, that's definitely worth it. Okay, moving on towards some academic questions about the degree. One of the comments that we have been receiving from the parents and some of the students is there any particular plan of adding a course related to research-led course, research-based course to the degree? Because that is something some of the parents are looking after.
Okay, well, I'd just like to add, I'm not an academic, so I can't speak on behalf of the academics. This is something that I would need to check with the program director and get back to you, because I certainly wouldn't be able to answer it. But in terms of sort of having that kind of sort of project sort of work going, what Dr. Serena mentioned about the Business Challenge, that is an amazing initiative that we have on offer. So each year, RTCs within sort of recognized teaching centers, as yourself, TMUC, can put together small teams, and then you judge, as you know, but just for the audience, there's normally a challenge, a brief, and then small teams, you compete internally, and then the best team then go forward, and then Royal Holloway then judge that. And it's a great initiative, and as Dr. Serena said, that TMUC have, I think, won twice, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah. So it's great. It does, like students have engaged in that whole business environment, that project research. So that is something. But of course, Usman, I will check with the program director if there are any plans for anything
So
else.
Usman, I'd like to add to this that while as an academic, I take a lot of pride in the fact that we offer the Royal Holloway International Business Program, because we offer it in international business stream as well as the marketing stream. But you know that the project based, it is so project based and so research driven, where that when you actually get down to studying those modules that we offer, um, the students get to know a lot of softwares like Excel and R and SPSS and Stata and whatever new, SAS, whatever new software is coming into the market, they know of that. I think the coursework that they submit is very research intensive, so it also looks after the research component. So on average, when we see a student get, complete a course for Royal Holloway compared to maybe another undergraduate program, we see that they're more hands-on and they have a better way of presenting themselves, they have a better way of presenting their work. So it is not just about PowerPoint presentations, they get to learn Canva and whatever other tools that they have out there. And there are way too many for me to even keep track of. But the faculty and the students are really up to date on the very latest. So every time I go to a classroom, I'm awestruck, and I sort of spent half an hour to 45 minutes in there trying to learn the latest things that they're doing. And we do regularly have updates to the coursework as well as the exam component. So I think from an academic perspective, the research and the project based and the case study methods, all of the methods that you should really be uh, practiced in class are a part of the Royal Holloway curriculum.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, for the elaborative answer. Moving on, if the next questions are to both of you, anyone who can answer or elaborate on them. What are the current assessment structure? How is the assessment divided between the project and the exams? And how has been the second question would be, how has been the online exam been the results? Are they up to the mark? If you can elaborate on these two
So
questions.
I can take the first question. Perhaps Dr. Serena can answer the second one because it's more specific to TMUC. So in terms of the assessments, each module is assessed by one examination, which counts for 60%, and one coursework element, which is 40%. And we found that works really well because students like a variety. Some students, they excel in sort of exam based, but then others excel in that sort of coursework, research, collaborative work. So we found that works very well. And in terms of passing those modules, the minimum it's a 40% pass mark. So that's the structure of the assessments, and I can pass it on to Dr. Serena to answer the second part of the question.
Yes, you were asking about how the exams have been. So the structure, like Nilofer said, is 40% of coursework submission and 60% of your work, student work, which happens in a 24-hour window on the day of the exam. For now, British Council is not invigilating. What I really like about the Royal Holloway method of assessment is that a lot of students are not very comfortable taking an exam. So there's a lot of exam pressure. We have a 40% coursework component, which means that they get to work and research on a lot of their work by themselves, and they get a lot of independence, and they get a lot of time to think about what they want to, how they want to translate something that was like a scenario that was given to them. So I think that has worked really well. And as far as the exam section is concerned, University of London has given us the Inspera website, and the students are pretty comfortable, for the 24-hour window. I've heard children say that, my students say sometimes that, oh, we're not morning people, so we're so glad we can do this at like a little later in the day. So I think it sort of looks after the time difference and, all of that. And of course, the coursework submission does make them a little more confident. It takes the pressure away. And we've had very good results for so long, and we've had a lot of students go on that special program for a master's to Royal Holloway. With, of course, the partnership offers them a 10% discount as well. So,
Thank you so much to both of you for the answers. The next section is really important for the students and the parents who deal with us regularly. It's about employability. With respect to employability and skill enhancement, does University of London or Royal Holloway provides support services to the students? For example, it could be about a workshop related to CV building, resume building. It could be some online mentoring or some guidance related to how they can enhance their skills. And is this support
Sure.
similarly provided to the on-campus students, or is there any difference between the teaching center and on-campus students?
Sure. So I can take that, Usman. I think one of the key strengths of the University of London, and one of the reasons why students should register, is what we have on offer in terms of career services. We have an amazing career services team who have put a lot of resources and support available for students. So as soon as students register, they have access to all these resources which I'll mention up until they graduate and up to 2 years after they graduate. So we have a dedicated virtual learning environment where students can access resources. They've got CV building, CV checkers. They have access to sort of watching podcasts. They can do mock interviews. There's a lot of sort of events going on. We have sort of an alumni relations network. So it gets students connected to other students, other sort of like alumni, share best practice. So that there's a lot that we have on offer. The career services team have also done a lot of work building micro-credential courses. So there's sort of mini courses. Students can go away. There's different topics like employability skills and so on. And once they complete these micro-credentials, they actually can have those included on their official transcript as well. So, it's something great to show, and the skills that they develop as part of this as well. So there's a lot going on. I can talk for a long time, but we don't have much time. But yeah, that we've got that on offer, and also I'm sure at TMUC as well, you have your own services that will complement the University of London careers initiatives in place. To answer the other questions on what career services will be available to on-campus students. So I believe Royal Holloway have their own career services, which will probably be different to University of London, but we have those in place. But as on-campus students, those students will access Royal Holloway's own career services, whereas students at TMUC will have access to the University of London services as well as TMUC's own.
Thank you so much.
That's right. I'd just like to add that TMUC across all is a recognized teaching center for the University of London, and across all of our campuses that we run this program on, we have our career development centers where we make sure that students go through a CV building workshop. They're placed for internships across different sectors of different sectors in Pakistan. They have mentoring available. Just recently, we've launched our very own business incubation center by the name of TMUC Accelerate. So all of these opportunities combined with all the resources that the University of London offers to the learners, I think it's a very good combination and makes them very industry ready, or even good to have their own startup ventures.
Thank you so much to both of you. And my next question would be directed towards, again, both of you. If Niloufar, if you can answer this on the international level, and if Dr. Serena, you can talk about the Pakistani scenario. So the next question is about the employability outcomes, opportunities for the Royal Holloway / University of London graduates. How is the outcome? How is the scenario out there? The parents are really concerned about this.
Sure. That is a great question, Usman, and I wish I would be able to answer this, but I would need to refer that to my career services colleagues, because they would be the ones who'd have access to all that information. Again, this can be one of the ones that I can get back to you on.
Thank you. Dr.
Yes.
Yes,
Usman, for our graduates, we've seen them study here and then move abroad, go all the way to Royal Holloway, study there, or to many different continents of the world. But we've never had a placement issue. Students who have traveled to the UK, done their masters, have also very easily phased into the UK, workforce. and they've done the same here. They've been able to get their jobs at the ministries and with the government of Pakistan, at educational institutions. We have some of our students who have very successfully gone into academia. So, and a lot of startups and good business ideas coming up as well. A lot of them, and then there are a lot of students who come to the Royal Holloway program looking for, more information on how to run a business because they have family businesses. So, more or less, all of our the success rate for placement of our students has been very encouraging.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, moving on, Nilufa, if you can highlight on this particular question, on this particular aspect of the concern, we always expect that the degree over here and the degree when they transfer to UK campus, the degree is going to remain the same. The qualification is going to remain the same. But can the student expect any different student experience over there, which they might not be able to get in inside Pakistan? Can you highlight the student experience over there?
Okay, so I think the best thing, just to sort of before I answer the question, the best thing about what we offer as part of this distance learning and studying at a recognised teaching centre is to give a bit of that feel of the on-campus environment. So I'm sure you will agree, Dr. Simon and Usman, students at TMUC, they have access to support, face-to-face support, their peers there, they've got environment where, this support. So similarly at Royal Holloway, you have access to all that. I can't compare two institutions, and but I can say that you'll get that, students will get that on campus living in London, sort of around London, that environment. But I'm sure students at recognised teaching centres, it's pretty much the best there. It's the best of both worlds. So it's what we're trying to sort of bridge that gap. So I'm sorry I can't give you a helpful answer, but I think students studying at RTC, recognised teaching centres, you get that experience as well. Obviously, going into that different environment internationally, you have a different sort of environment anyway.
Yes, and even if they don't, they're not able to go to Royal Holloway in the second or the third year or for the master's program, they do, very happily go for the graduation at Royal Holloway, and then they go and experience the whole thing. And I think the recognized teaching centers like TMUC have very nice campuses all across Pakistan, and they give them a very rich experience of what kind of lifestyle or what kind of surrounding a business administration program should have. So I think the overall experience will just speak for itself.
Thank you, Ms. Sarina, for the nationwide experience. For our students, definitely the campuses we have are state of the art over here in Pakistan. Okay, moving on. Another very common question that we get, it's about scholarships or fee reduction, bursaries, based on need, based on merit. There would be some students who would always want something extra, or they can't afford it due to their own reason. Is there any way that they can apply for some extra bursary when they are transferring to UK? Is there any mechanism about that?
So what I would advise is we have a section on the University of London website which covers the scholarships and bursaries on offer. So in addition to the bursary that we talked about earlier with the 20.5% bursary, we do have another bursary scholarship for students in Pakistan. More details are on the website. And then we do have a University of London hardship fund. It's a small amount, which does make a difference. Students would need to apply for that, just like the Pakistan scholarship. So they're two that we do have an offer, but more information is available on our website.
Definitely, that is helpful for many students over here who want to pursue world-class education, but they might not be able to afford it. Okay, lastly, a very, very important and a common question, and this would be our last section for today, which is the degree awarded, the certificate awarded, is it identical to the ones when the student gets after studying on campus?
Okay.
Is it similar?
So it's pretty much the same, but certain differences, and I can talk through. So as a student studying in Pakistan through TMUC, they will get a certificate that will say the University of London. We do not mention the fact that it was via distance learning or by a recognised teaching centre, and it will be signed by University of London. The difference with a student studying on campus at Royal Holloway, that certificate will be signed by University of London and Royal Holloway. So it will just be the number of signatures and maybe slight wording. But a student from Pakistan studying at TMUC will have University of London shield, business administration, Royal Holloway, and one signature.
Yes.
Okay, that's a great benefit for the students who are studying over here and could not travel to UK for any reason. They would get the same degree.
I think that is the biggest benefit of students. You have a world-renowned, world-class UK degree which has been formed by academics who are developing content for similar on-campus students. So you get the same academic direction as someone who would have been studying on campus, but you do it at your own home. So we know that today's busy life, people are busy, you've got commitments, so you can have that on-campus experience at your recognized teaching center without having to leave the country, and it's more affordable as well. And we at University of London, we try our best to give students the extra support. We know it can be challenging, it can be a strain. We offer a lot of support, we have a lot of resources available, we have sort of like 24 hours like mental health support. We have, peer support. We have a global community where students in Pakistan can connect to students in Jamaica, for example, or the UK. So, we have that global community.
That's excellent. Without even having to travel, you can still stay connected with the world.
Yes, I'd like to mention something that we're very proud of. So I think the best thing that a student could do is be a part of the student body. So the first global student alumni and the graduating student batch. There was a student from our campus at Islamabad who made this network where she connected all of University of London international students on one platform. So that's one thing that I think University of London really encourages, and TMUC is very proud that we are also encouraging our students to take these steps, and they get recognition for all of these things, and they obviously add to their CVs, their experience, and I think that is exactly what the beauty of a transnational education is.
Most definitely, most definitely. Thank you so much to both of you for this informative session. And I'm sure this is going to be helpful for many people out there watching us, and looking forward to more such sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.